Now let's welcome in Sporting Kansas City defender Matt Besler. Matt, is it Matt Besler or is it Shaquille O'Neal from 1992?
Oh, you can call me either. Shaq Daddy, Beezy Daddy. I mean, yeah, whatever you want to go with. I barely got this thing on today.
Honestly, how long have you had that?
Yeah, I mean, this is an actual throwback. Like, this isn't something I bought a couple years ago. Like, I had this one as a kid. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. It's Shaquille O'Neal. So I'm thinking about taking it down to Orlando. So we'll see how it works down there.
I think you're going to have to take it down to Orlando because I don't think that thing's coming off your body anytime soon.
Yeah. Good point.
Matt, let's look at the tournament. MLS is back. You look at your group. I think it's the group of death. I think it's the most difficult group in the tournament. I think when you look at all four teams, there's a legitimate argument that they will get through. Do you agree with me, or am I wrong on that?
Well, I mean, I think our group is tough. Yeah. I haven't really looked at the other groups in depth, probably like you have. So can't really talk about or debate other groups. I mean, I think our group is hard. I think, when you look at a tournament like this, especially in the situation we're in where there's not a whole lot of time to prepare, I think the teams that are going to do well are going to be the teams that are organized. And, you look at Minnesota and what they're about, especially the last year. They've been extremely organized defensively. Their first two games, they went on the road, were organized, and then they caught teams on the counter. So that's going to be a tough matchup. I think they're going to do well in the tournament. And then Colorado's been extremely organized, it's looked like, under Robin Fraser. I assume that they placed a lot of emphasis on that organization when he's the coach. So those two teams, and then Salt Lake as well. I mean, Salt Lake has been around the block for a number of years. They have a style of play, so we expect them to be organized as well.
Now, in saying that, Matt, I'll tell anyone that Sporting Kansas City is the favorites in this group. And the reason why are people like yourself, Graham Zusi, where you guys have had real success, experienced group, but you've also got a coach in Peter Vermees that in a 7-game run can really put something together. I know it's impossible to talk about momentum because the last game you played was 4 months ago. But don't you feel like the continuity within your locker room works in your favor in a situation like this?
Yeah, I mean, it helps. Certainly it's better than losing your first two games.
Right.
I would have hated to be in that situation. You lose 2 games and then you've got to be stuck in quarantine for how long it's been, 10 weeks. It's a lot better to have those good vibes going. The energy is really good. The confidence is high. So, yeah, I mean, I like our chances. We're going into this thing trying to win it. I don't know what other teams are. I imagine there's probably some other teams that, maybe aren't as positive going into this tournament, or they look at this like, I don't know, the excitement level's not there. But I can tell you with our team, we're taking it very seriously, and we want to go down, we want to play well, and we want to try and win.
9 a.m. games. You've been around the block, my man. 1, are you a morning person? You seem like you're a morning person. But 2, I don't think that's as big of an adjustment as the 10:30 games at nighttime. Am I wrong?
Totally agree with you. Totally agree. I haven't played a 9 a.m. game since before high school.
That jersey.
Since this, yeah, good point. No, man, it's going to be different. It's but you know what? I think it makes the tournament interesting. Like we're in unprecedented times right now. So if you ask me personally, would I rather have the morning slot or the last slot, that 10:30 kickoff? No question. I'd rather have the early game.
Yeah.
Because I think the 10:30 game, what are you going to do all day? I mean, you're sitting like that's one of the worst things about game day as a player is you just have to sit around and you've got the game on your mind. You try and relax and try and not think about the game, but you've got so long. And then the other thing you got to think about too is you play the game at 10:30. You don't get done till after midnight, 12:31. You've got to go back. You got to shower. You've got to eat. You've got to wind down. I mean, you're not going to bed at a minimum like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So then the next day that you're still recovering, and probably even that second or third day, you're still trying to recover from that kickoff. So I think, I don't know. To me, that's the worst time slot is that 10:30 game.
Yeah, and also because majority of the teams in this league are training by 9 a.m. anyways during the summer because it's too hot. So you guys are already up getting after it. When you look at this team's preparation, what's the one thing that has stood out to you with all the players coming back from the pandemic? Has it been fitness? Has it been the mental aspect? Why are you so confident that this group is ready to go?
To me, the just excitement to be back on the field really has stood out to me. I love the group we have, talent wise, camaraderie wise, but I was blown away with just how locked in everyone was and how excited people were to be able to get back and compete. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to. Not necessarily having to go down to Orlando in the middle of the summer and, you have all these things that are going to be new and, there's going to be growing pains. But the best aspect to me is we're going to be on the field and we're going to be competing. And that's what we all want to do. And from the first day that we were able to return to our facility as a team, I could just sense that I could feel that within our group that everybody missed that aspect of it a lot.
Matt, obviously a huge talking point throughout the world of sports is this social inequality. Black Lives Matter, the Black Players Coalition in Major League Soccer. We've seen the Bundesliga, English Premier League. We've seen the NWSL. Now Major League Soccer will have that turn. What kind of conversations you guys have had as a group within that locker room?
We've had multiple conversations. Me personally, it's been a tough realization, I guess, for me, because you sit here and you think that some things aren't issues, but they really are. Or you think that you may know something or a little about a subject, and you realize that you really don't know anything. And so it's been eye-opening for me just to learn and to sit back and listen as much as I can. But in terms of our team, we've placed a huge importance on social inequality, on the conversations, on discussions, and making sure that there's no issues within our locker room. And I think that's one of the unique things about soccer. It's the world's game, and we have people from all over the world, different races, cultures, and we've got to come into a locker room and become one and become a team. And so we early on, we had a ton of conversations specifically about our locker room to make sure that there were no issues. Fortunately, there weren't, but if there were, then we would have worked through those right away. But we also did something really cool. We basically had a roundtable discussion with our team, and it was not mandatory. It was voluntary. We opened up a room and said, hey, if anyone's interested in sitting down together and communicating and sharing some of the stories and experiences that you've had with some discrimination, let's do this. And every single person on our team showed up. Again, this was voluntary, and we sat and talked as a team for over 2 hours. And I'm telling you, Taylor, it was one of the most powerful experiences I've had as an athlete. Just being able to sit and listen to some of my Black teammates tell some of the stories that they've experienced throughout their life. It was eye-opening, emotional, and like I said, very powerful for me just to be able to hear those things. But I also think it was powerful for the people that were able to tell their stories, because there was a lot of things that I had heard that they were saying, I've never been able to tell this story before. I've never had people to actually sit down and take the time to listen. And the fact that, you guys are my teammates and my brothers, you guys are taking the time to sit down and listen to it, it really means a lot to me. And so there was a lot of positive aspects out of those conversations. And, it was great to see that we were able to do that. And now we just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Matt. I think two things have stood out to me. The fact that one weekend we're talking about NASCAR and the German Bundesliga leading the sports change conversation, two entities that were never part of that. But two, and more importantly, is what you said. I do believe that we're on the precipice of real change, because not only are we listening, we're actually hearing what these people are saying and what the Black athletes and Black people are actually saying, where you and I, maybe historically, we didn't listen. Or maybe we listened, but we moved on. And I just think there's a real opportunity here. Matt, I appreciate you taking the time joining us. Hopefully Graham Zusi doesn't wear Penny Hardaway's jersey down to Orlando, because then otherwise you two may have your hands full.
I got to find one. I know I have a Barkley sitting there somewhere, old Phoenix Suns, but I like the Penny shout. That might be a good one.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.